And this is quite cheap. So what class of ship are these? W class. Well, I'm going to start using the patron numbers, names. So this is going to be the Nimander class. Can't save that, I have no experience. Never mind. Do I want to delete these, or is it... No, I may as well just upgrade them. It really is cheaper. Those must have been some very understaffed ships, yeah. Let's just see if they have any strength problems. They don't. Like, even these are supposed to have a manpower of 300. And I'm half tempted to delete these two, although they do make good firing platforms for naval invasions. Manpower 6,000. Well, our numbers seem to be more or less full again, so hopefully that solves a few problems. Speed this up to speed 5 again. The other thing I could also do is remove my fighters. Elections in Italy. Oh, man. Oh, Italy, not socialist. I was going to say, oh, we lost Mussolini. We didn't. Hey, Otaku. Must have been using the Mongolian Navy as a model for their navy. Which, of course, itself was inspired by the Swiss Navy. Norway has joined the Third Internationale. Nej took 2 provinces from Jabal Shammar.
Where to, boss?
Oh, the British are leaving New Zealand. The French are staying in just the North Island, where it is winter. And there's only that one port which is now not guarded. So don't tell the British that, okay? I'm looking at you. Don't be telling them that this port here in Townsville is completely unguarded. The military doctrines of the Anzacs, the Australian and New Zealand Army Corps, have developed very little since the Weltkrieg, and a push to modernise the Australasian army appears to be necessary. While we could remain true and tried to the tested British methods, there are some, particularly those with ties to the Navy, who say we should adapt to a more modern war and adjust for our army's makeup accordingly. So organisation and planning gives us better organisation, better planning, which would be really good with Grand Battle Plan. Training, which gives reinforced rate but reduces organisation recovery rate and decreases training time. Sorry, increases training time. Quality weapons, reduces organisation but increases attack and defence. Or they're fine as is, which increases their recovery rate. Can I shrink my units to give myself enough manpower to make one more unit to cover the port? My units are already consisting of just 5 infantry. I don't want to shrink them anymore. They're 10 combat width. I'm going to take the quality weapons. And now we can get a new focus, which we need to continue working on this to get rid of the war effort. So let's modernise the artillery. Australasia's artillery mostly dates from the Weltkrieg. We must modernise our artillery unless we wish our soldiers to be eviscerated without proper support. And we're actually getting some political power. We are back in control, right? Yes. And yeah, Commonwealth of Canada has to be at war with the Commune of France for me to join the Internationale. Which is when the fun will really start. The Korean government in exile has approached our government for military and political aid in retaking their lands from Japan. This would cause much grief to the Japanese should we go to war with them, but it might also cause other problems for us should Korea jump the gun. I will send you my old guns. Not that I'm really expecting much from Korea. That's one civil war they really need to overhaul.
Where's next?
Or one war of independence. Because the Koreans don't really stand much of a chance. Okay, so we have lost about 4,000 manpower along the way somewhere. Somehow.
What are your orders, sir?
I don't believe it's because of training. Sweden has joined the Reichspakt.
Orders, sir.
Grand total of 83,000 men serving in our armed forces currently. But we do now have the one soldier defending Townsville. So every one of our ports is now guarded. The problem is if one of the ports gets attacked, we have nobody to go and reinforce them. I don't think the Koreans have a tree, no. And there's the artillery, fully modernised. Relics of the Weltkrieg. Our infantry equipment is old. Very old. Most of it saw service during the Weltkrieg, and some sets have been around for even longer than that. We must equip our army with modern gear, or else we will not stand a chance in another war. I mean, like the one that we're in right now, against New Zealand. That kind of war. Radio. And it is now January 37, so let's grab the new construction. And you guys are still building. Then once this is... Oh no, we still need the political power, don't we? So, we can either research the RAN, which will give us Navy experience so we can upgrade, or start the destroyers upgrading, or we can just stay without a focus for about the same amount of time in order to get the war effort, or to get the plebiscite going. And you're ready as well.
Orders, sir.
Shouldn't take you long to get the training required. What about the economy tree? I would like to get to the economy stuff, but I want to make sure that we're secure first. Because we lost last time because of constant naval invasions. And that's because I didn't focus enough on the military, which we are doing now. And against early marine attacks, I think we'll be alright. Mongolia took 10 states, Tibet took 1, Marklik has been annexed. How much are we generating at the moment? Plus 0.96. Stability is still losing us a little bit, but stability is rising. Party popularity is still super low. This is like one of the worst balances of power I've ever seen in a nation. It's horrible. Alright, here it is. I'm gonna do this just because I want to start the destroyers upgrading. During the Weltkrieg, the Royal Australasian Navy was a small force that consisted of only a few ships, and plans were to decommission even these as soon as the war ended. With the British Pacific Fleet having fled to our ports, we found ourselves in possession of a fleet that far outstrips our ability to properly manage them. This is our first and foremost issue, although actually, that being said... I have a minus 25% dockyard efficiency. No, this is fine. Oh, there was the war timer. Was that actually... I'm going to reload my autosave just because I'm curious to see if there was actually an Entente war timer. I wonder if that war timer is how long until they can start naval invading. Gives you some time to deal with New Zealand without intervention. Do any of the focuses give political power? I mean, the downside of focuses giving political power is it costs political power to get them as well. Call for peace. It has been many months since the war with New Zealand began, and while we have captured the island, we remain at war with the colonial masters. This is a war that will go nowhere. However, thus a suggestion has been raised that we should seek white peace with the British. If they will leave us be, this conflict can be put behind us. White peace will give up New Zealand, though, won't it? Well, we've just made a save, so we're going to do that. See if we can keep New Zealand. Could you disband, decommission any obsolete ships for additional manpower? Is it not worth it? Yes, we can, and initially we actually did. However, it potentially breaks one of our focus trees, which is why I stopped and went back and reloaded that. Because we have this oversized fleet negative, which is required for us to get into basically the second half of our naval reforms. Has national spirit oversized fleet. So if we don't have that, then we can't do this stuff. So I scrapped the 2 aircraft carriers because I don't think I'm going to have an opportunity to use them. I kept it. New Zealand was the next. Although it's currently a core state. Now, can I... Oh, I can begin the Plebiscite! That actually gave me a ton of political power. Restore order in New Zealand. Costs me 5 stability for 180 days. And we'll core all of their stuff. So we're going to work on this, and we're also going to begin the Plebiscite. Sweet! Welcome back to the bad guys. I mean good guys. Oh, except I'm not at war anymore, which means that I can't do the war effort to get rid of Bled Dry. Well, hopefully I can change my manpower law at the very least. And then we'll be in a position to do that when we actually join the war proper in the future. Just tuned in. How did I avoid getting crushed by the Entente like last time? I did a Leroy Jenkins massive invasion of New Zealand before the Entente had time to rally all their fleets and actually start a counterattack. And then after you occupy it for like 6 months, they'll offer peace. Conscription plebiscite begins. The government has begun preparing for the plebiscite for several weeks, and as already the issue is spread across the Australasian Union. It is a controversial topic, and one that will be voted on a state-by-state basis. If more states approve it than don't, the conscription laws will be immediately enacted. If the plebiscite fails, however, it will be an embarrassment for the government, and conscription will be even more difficult to pass in the future. The full results should be with us within a month or so. All I can do now is wait, so I suspect that this is going to fail, because we're not actually at war. Republic declared in Serbia. Since the end of the Austrian occupation during the 1920s, Serbia has officially been a kingdom. They never dared crown a king, as they were forced to keep a low profile in light of further Austrian aggression.
What are your orders, sir?
Standoff in America. A tense standoff has erupted in the United States as the democratically elected President Reed fled to the city of Chicago after being forcibly removed from his position by General Douglas MacArthur. From Chicago, Reed supporters have declared MacArthur's government illegitimate, as have several Southern supporters of Huey Long, based in New Orleans, and the Pacific governors under the leadership of Governor Frank Merriam. It's fine. I'm sure America will bounce back. No problem. Oh, I see. Stability is now going to go down to -30 if we force it, rather than the 20 it was before. I guess. Right, and we don't have the naval experience yet. This is a 42. I thought it was a 35 day. Okay. I stand corrected. New South Wales votes no. Votes in the conscription plebiscite are coming in from the new state of New South Wales. The results indicate the people there have voted against the motion. One down. Whoops. How many states do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. New Zealand doesn't get a vote because they're traitors. Northern Territory votes no. Western Australia votes yes. Okay, so we've just finished another thing. Unfortunately, we can't do the war effort because we are not actually at war anymore. Let's expand the council. I really want to get the research stuff because I want to get my extra research slots. Rather than rely on outside assistance, our focus should be on expanding the ARC and ensuring that it has access to the best scientists Australasia can offer. That's 2 all.
Yes, sir.
And you can join the garrison forces. Queensland votes yes. That's what, 3-2? Victoria votes no, 3 all. The Second American Civil War. To those not in the know, it might seem like the crisis in the United States came out of nowhere, but experts agree this was a civil war years in the making. Since the collapse of the New York Stock Exchange in 1925, the economy of the United States has been sluggish and mired in deep recession. The Philippines and the CSA have made peace. Oh no, that's 3 all. Or is it 4-3? I think this might actually be 4-3. Oh, don't tell me this is going to be a tie. Tsardom restored. The Russian Republic, created in the last years of the Welsh Creek, appears to only have lasted 20 years before its end. Plagued by disorder, political agitation, and ineffective governance in recent years, the Republic lost its support of the people, and the state agencies now report that a successor to Nicholas II has been crowned Tsar of the Russias. Romanovs are back in power, so Wrangel restored the Tsardom again. Kirill Huzzah! Mr. Thompson! Thank you very much for the follow. No, for the Twitch Prime resub. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 13 months resubscriptions. That's awesome. Greetings once more. Been way too long. Yes, it has. Thank you. New Zealand votes no. Of course New Zealand votes no. Why did we give them a vote? Second International Congress. Our British comrades have confirmed their readiness to host the Second International Congress in London. It's time for the Federation to confirm its participation. Gain stability, and they like me more if we say yes. Absolutely we'll attend. What this newfangled thingy-majiggy. Five no's, 3 yeses. The result is a no. Government's been completely defeated at the voting polls. Conscription's been absolutely refused by the citizens of Australasia, leaving the cabinet prestige deeply damaged. I wonder how you get that to pass. But it doesn't look like there was any way of, like, meddling with it. I would assume that it just gets boosted if you're at war. And if you're not, then they're like, eh. So how much is forcing conscription now going to cost me? No, it's the same. So they did change the base stability cost from 20 to 30 straight away. Well, I mean, I've recovered it from 0 once before, so I can do it again. The first Spartacade's opening ceremony was held in Manchester and attended by dignitaries and athletes from around the socialist world. The British team carried the torch and the French team the hammer, and the other teams carried the pieces of the cog to the location where they were to be assembled. When placed together, they formed the international symbol of syndicalism. Democracy prevails in the Philippines. Having just achieved independence from the United States, the Philippines face today perhaps one of the most serious challenges any new country could face. And they chose wrongly. Or rather, the coup failed, unfortunately.
Where to, boss?
And this restoring of order in New Zealand is going to take a really long time. Okay, council has been successfully expanded. I need all of the following to get this. More production efficiency and research speeds. That sounds good to me. It is important to remember the scholarly pursuits are needed to maintain our position. Generous funding increases to the National University in Canberra will allow us to educate the masses and become a beacon of new research. Plus it also increases our production efficiency cap even further. We're going to have a crazy efficiency. We just need to make sure that we don't ever change our production. The coup may have failed, comrade, but the invasion won't. Now try and say that in an Australian accent, I dare you. The Second Internationale, the first Syndicalist Internationale held in Paris, dealt with spreading the ideology overseas, supporting syndicalist movements, and strengthening the ties between syndicalist nations, and thanks to the ongoing success, the Second Internationale has been called to be held in London. We got a few medals in the events, but not enough for our team to be the winner. Neither good nor bad. Acceptable. I suppose they should have a way to focus on making local militias and focuses to boost those militia units. Militia being a unit that can't move outside of core territories. Wait, is that true? Because I know that militia exist. I can't build them, but some nations can. I thought they were just a weaker, cheaper form of infantry. Although just as manpower intensive, so not really worth it in my case. End of the 1937 Spartacade. The Spartacade has ended and has been a tremendous success with a great many people enjoying the games. It was a very good move to join the Spartacade, the Olympics of the working class. Too bad that it ended.
Where to, boss?
Anyone who didn't win a medal is off to the friendship camp. I don't know if it's true, but it would make more sense if militia can't be used offensively, but would in turn not cost manpower, or just cost less manpower. And also, they should just be very quickly raised. I mean, it would be kind of a retinue system like in CK2, with every province, or Victoria, probably more like Victoria, every province raising a certain percentage of their population as militia units. What is this song? It's excellent, is what it is. Countryside Stories. Coach or something else. It's similar to this, though. Docking rights from the Combined Syndicates of America. Absolutely. Oh, and in fact, I should probably send some guns to the CSA. That's one thing I can provide is weaponry. And the CNTFAI. In fact, I'm going to send it to you first. The CSA tends to be able to hold better. Start lend lease. Convoys, because you're probably going to need some. And then you can have all the New Zealand weapons. 933, 795. Whoa, not 550, 50! You know what? We'll send some to the CSA as well. Spanish Civil War. Ever since the defeat of Napoleon, Spain has been plagued by violence, dissent and turmoil. No amount of pleading, deal-making and appeasement has managed to do more than paper over the cracks as the tensions bubbled. It was inevitable. Okay, so we're on to the last construction project now. 1937 Dutch elections. The Social Democratic SDAP has joined in coalition with the moderate VDB, promising a progressive administration that aims to solve the nation's many crises. So that's the Social Democrats. They're the ones who are banned from power by the Queen. National University done. Research bonus for radar. Sounds good to me. If Australasia faces an invasion, it will come from across the sea. Thus, we should invest heavily into new radar technologies and build watch stations along the coast. Need to have more than 35 factories, so after this, we'll start on the industrializing. Construction 2 is done. Okay, improve machine tools. Let's get even more production efficiency on. We do have a lot of tungsten. Socialist Republic of Liberia has joined the Third International. Good, good, good. So long as you secure New England, you're going to be fine.